Marianah Lourens met Kuns en Vermaak. Yes, Marianah Lourens and Art and Entertainment. And I am so blessed because I'm here in an old friend. I said earlier at another interview, young friends, because they were all young people, but I've known them since they were in school for a long time. But now with us, I think there's not too many years between us. Maybe 10.
Maybe.
Yes, but I mean, that makes us both kind of on the other side. We grandparents and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited actually about the Arts Festival that we can have here. It's under the umbrella of the National Arts Festival,
That's
but
right.
it used to be, we had to go all the way to Makanda. But now we've got some of it here, a little piece of it here, so it's just the Mandela Bay Arts Festival. And you and your friends are part of it.
That's right.
So, Mahesh Narotam, please tell us more about that.
Yes, thanks Marianah. Thanks for being here and doing the interview. I decided to put a group together, different from the ones that we performed with last year. Some new talent and some new musicians. And obviously it was a bit of an awkward time of the year, Christmas and New Year and what have you. People were away, people were not really focusing on rehearsals and that type of thing. So we got excited about it. As was last year, we're doing a lot of my own compositions with one or two covers thrown in. And there's also some spaces and music that the other musicians have to climatize with and make it work for all of us. Yeah.
And work together.
And work together, yeah.
Is it a group of people who have known each other for a while?
Yes and no. Barlow, we know each other for a while. We've played together at one of the other festivals. Very good keyboard player. Yvonne Williams, the guitarist, we met up very, very recently. Then, of course, there's a budding young vocalist that we was trying to groom to fit into our kind of music. Our load shedding is, we got power.
The sound effects in your studio with power coming on.
Yeah.
Yes, load shedding has ended and we can hear a little... Is it like a little fountain you have there?
That is a fountain, yes.
It looks awesome. It's got little cogs turning.
Yes, and it's a very soothing sound. I love the sound of nature, so gets my mood going as such, when I'm sitting and playing.
It's lovely. So we just include our listener to our lovely soothing background sound there. But anyway, you were telling us now about...
The vocalist is a new kid on the block.
Your vocalist, yes, very important part.
Yes. Although his contribution will be a bit minimal, because most of the other pieces are all instrumental pieces, as like before. And of course, then I got my son Chetan on the tabla.
And the tabla is?
Yes. The tabla is the Indian percussion drums. So
that's your percussion.
Percussion, yes.
Yeah. Now the vocalist, the name of him?
His name is Jonathan Kiston. So, so that is the band more or less.
Yes, so you have to get together now more regularly.
More regularly,
yes. And I just want to ask, are they all local?
All of them are local. Jonathan is formerly from Durban, but I think he's been working here about 10 years. And we've just met very recently as well. I think he's had a bit of music training when he was at school in Durban, more on the jazz side of things. Yeah, we're looking forward to his contribution.
Okay, because now on your poster it doesn't say the genre, so you've mentioned jazz now, and then you mentioned your own composition.
Well, like last year also, the whole set was my own composition, besides one which was a Bollywood song, and this time around as well, we're doing some of my own pieces.
And when did you start composing, Mahesh?
It's been a while.
It's a long story.
It is a bit of a long story. 2015, I released an album entitled Sacred Moments. So it started just before that. I think coming down to my dedicated room here, it just gives me that sense of compositional sense and creative sense. I do find songs mulling through my head type of thing, melodies running through my head, and try to just record it. I've got a lot of recordings of myself here, small snippets. Because 5 minutes later, one would forget what it is, especially because it's not covers or so.
Do you write the music?
Yes.
I mean, the notes, like we see notes on bars.
Not really. I did study music many, many moons ago. And if I have to sit and write it down, I think it will maybe take me a month to score the music with the knowledge that I've lost over the years. So a lot of it is from the heart, and then, as I said, I normally just record it on my phone.
Okay, but you still know C, D, E, F, G, A, B, you know.
Yes, I do have a bit of a knowledge of that.
And not that I never really studied music, but my cousin taught me because he learned music and he learned me the notes to read on the bar. So I can actually pick out a tune with 2 fingers, kind of thing. But I've got so much respect for the people who can play with 2 hands and read these double notes, you know.
Yes, of course.
I think it's quite amazing. I mean, to then get it over to someone else and you have to give them a tune, you can do that easily if you've got to write out the notes.
No, definitely, yes.
But you can also sing it to them.
I guess so.
Do you sing yourself?
COVID has brought that out of me, sitting at home every day, waiting for the end of the world, which was a bit of a scary period of COVID, especially the first month with a total shutdown and what have you. And I always had this passion of wanting to sing. And of course, my roots are also Indian classical. That is my first love in terms of music. I've been experimenting.
You have?
I have, yes.
So you can sing?
I don't know if I can sing, but I do try to croak now and then, yes.
And your vocal pieces, which you say are in the minimum, they don't overtake your concert or your show. But you do something as well, a bit of singing?
Well, for the set that we're doing for this performance, I'll just be starting off the first piece, which is off my album, Sacred Moments. And I'll just be doing a chant. In Indian classical music, there's a lot of chants which are of religious significance and with universal acceptance as well, for want of a word. Very meaningful. So I'll just be singing about 4 lines from that. And it's very meditative as well.
Yes,
it's meditative. So it creates a mood for the audience to just focus and sit back and maybe close their eyes and just listen.
Yeah, and enjoy. And you know, I mean, God created music. It's His.
That's right.
It's His domain. So when you do it in such a meditative and respectful way, He's there.
Oh, yes, of course.
He is there. And, you know, when you were talking now about COVID and not knowing if the world was going to end, you actually don't know because we are now almost 4 years away from when we first started with the fear of COVID. And it's like the world has gone much more crazy.
Definitely.
The world.
It has definitely had side effects of a different nature.
Yes, and you're actually wondering what is going to happen. And we just have to hold on to our faith.
Yes, of course.
And that's all. God is God. Doesn't matter what faith you are.
That's right. When I was studying up in Durban at university during the apartheid years when we were not allowed to attend the other universities, I did music as a subject there as well. And that's where I learned to read and write music. But that is many, many moons ago. So I studied Western music and I did a bit of piano as well. We had to do 2 instruments. But then there was another student in our res, 1 or 2 floors above me, that played the bamboo flute, which is referred to as a bansuri, and I was just captivated. In fact, I always loved flute music. And going to the rock era, Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson, and Herbie Mann, and all the other, I can't remember the other guys' names, but that flute music always gelled with me as such. I had a soft spot for that. Prior to my leaving for university also, my dad, as a small business, we had a record bar as well. The clientele we had was mainly guys that were into jazz music. So I used to love listening to jazz music. The Herbie Manns and Ian Anderson, what have you, although he was more a rock flautist. Got introduced really at that point in time to Indian classical music. And I think that has stayed with me ever since.
I think it's quite interesting how these different genres connect.
Oh, yes.
And you can connect it in a show like yours and bring it from that brass and then bring a bit of rock in.
Yeah.
And as you say, you're going to play mostly your compositions.
Mostly my compositions, yeah.
But you're also going to do some covers.
One is going to be a cover, yes.
And we can look forward to it.
Yes, that's one of the vocal pieces that Jonathan will be singing.
So that's going to be a vocal one.
It's going to be a vocal piece.
Because sometimes it's nice to have covers because it means you also respect other musicians and artists, and you don't hog the spotlight, which is such a wonderful quality. And not all musicians or performing artists understand that, to give each other a chance. And I think it's amazing that you are not doing this on your own, but you've got these friends that you've hooked in, and I hope there's going to be many more shows.
We hope so too, yes.
Do you come from a musical family?
No, there's no musicians in my family. Maternal side and paternal side, no. Just they love listening to music, but no musicians as such.
Lots of kids say that their grannies and so on listen to music. And like myself, I used to learn all sorts of things from the radio because, of course, we never had TV growing up. And you heard the choral music, and then you heard the opera, and everything came over the radio. And then later on, when I was a little bit older and switched on the radio for myself, which was LM radio, and all the...
I remember that.
Yes, all that. And music is such a therapeutic thing, not only music, but the arts. All the arts, and they take hands, and that's why it's so nice to see a musical, you know, where there's music and there's a story and it comes from somewhere.
Sure.
From somewhere ancient. And what I was going to say to you is the kids had said, oh, their granny used to drag them to go sing in the Sunday school choir or in the church choirs. And they didn't have musical family. There was no music in their family, but they were actually motivated to then study music. And that is so interesting. So now to get to our show that's going, or two shows, because you've got two shows, and it's actually nice. The one is on the 18th and the other one is on the 23rd. If you miss the one on the 18th, you can catch the one on the 23rd.
That's great.
And they also at different times. So 5:30 is not a good time for you on the 18th.
Well, that's a Sunday, so that's a perfect time.
It is actually perfect time on a Sunday, but sometimes somebody has to work or something like that on a Sunday. Then they can catch it on the 23rd.
That's a Friday.
And that's a Friday, and that's at 7 p.m. And they're both at the Athenaeum. There's so many rooms there. I don't know which shows are going to be where.
Yes.
We'll have to wait and see. You can correct me, maybe you know better. The tickets will be, if you go to Facebook, to Mandela Bay Arts Festival, then you'll be able to...
You can book your tickets.
You can book your seats there. And I actually think there may be tickets for sale.
I'm sure they will have a venue.
Because the Athenaeum is going to be the hub.
Yeah, that seems like it.
Yeah, with the central point. I can't wait. So we just say, break the legs, and we're all going to be there and have a lot of enjoyment until I see you there. And it's not long because you can say it's days, because the 18th is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Be blessed, have fun, and see you at the Athenaeum. Thank you so much, Mahesh.
Thank you for interviewing me.
It's a great pleasure, and it's time for me, Marianah Lourens, and Art and Entertainment to say goodbye. Ja, Marianah Lourens en Kuns en Vermaak wat nou groet met Arrivari.